pit blade works.
What is up, you guys? This is Silverfang, and today I'm gonna be doing another reaction. This is gonna be the second part of the last video I did, which was Chulainn Explained, aka Lancer. So this is gonna be basically going over his noble phantasms and abilities. So I'm really excited for this. The last video, I love that video. His story was so crazy. His life, it was really cool. It was amazing. This guy was a freaking badass by the age of 7. That is insane. Like, it's crazy. He became like the bodyguard of a king. Like, well, they call him his guard dog, but basically that's pretty much what he was. He was a bodyguard to a king. Later went to defeat entire armies by himself, to later tragically fighting and killing his own son, and then sent to battle to defeat an entire army, and then died while still on his feet. It was a warrior's life, pretty much. Like, this guy was a freaking player, man. So like, he had a really nice life. Some tragic moments here and there, but for the most part they were filled but with a whole bunch of glory, pretty much. Like, he beating entire armies on his own, like being a one-man army, receiving Gaia Bog. So yeah, his life was really exciting. I really enjoyed that story. That story has definitely been the most entertaining thus far. Granted, I've only seen Emiya's, but out of the two stories, I gotta say the lore, it was more interesting for Lancer. Although Emiya is still my favorite servant, but his lore and backstory is definitely more entertaining. So yeah, this is gonna be dope. His noble phantasms and abilities, he went a little bit into it in the last video, meaning he said that he had Gaia Bog, and he also said he had like a anime-esque rage mode, that his hair gets spiky and he goes beast mode pretty much. So he did mention that. I'm wondering how that will come into play into his abilities. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he has like a berserk type of ability, who knows. Let's see. But that's pretty much it. So before we get started with the video, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot. So basically, I'm trying to reach 200 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you guys could really help me out with that, I would really appreciate it. If you could see right there in the corner, you can see that. So please help me out if you like my videos. If not, go check some of my previous videos. If you like those, please subscribe. For those of you who are already subscribed, thank you so much. You guys really mean a lot to me. Every time I get a new subscriber, I get like a rush of motivation to want to record. Every time I reach a milestone, it's crazy. Like, I like doing this. I love editing, I love recording, I love anime, I love Fate. So if you guys love all those things, you might want to subscribe to my channel. And also, I upload pretty regularly. It's either every day or once every other day. So you guys are gonna get constant content from me. So let's go. Let's just jump into the video because I'm excited. The last video that I did, well, not the last video, but the last powers explained that I did from him, which was for Shiro Emiya, was really entertaining and extremely detailed. So hopefully this is the same, and I'm probably gonna have a lot to say if it is. So let's just go into the video.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 2 of our look into Fate Stay Night's Lancer, Chulainn. This time diving more into his abilities and noble phantasms. But first, if you haven't seen part 1 covering his past and lore, then you can go ahead and check that out from the link in the description below. It's a pretty great story, if I do say so.
You should definitely go to. I left the link of the original video in my other video.
Is really capable of. Starting with his weapon, the legendary cursed spear, Gaia Bog. Given to him by his mentor Skyhawk and forged from the remains of the phantasmal sea monster known as CAREE. There's also some pretty badass looking armor made from the beast's skeleton that's also used by Chulainn Alter.
Oh, that's dope.
But what exactly does this spear do? The spear itself isn't the noble phantasm, but instead can be used to activate abilities that are classified as noble phantasms. The first being a single target strike that's referred to as Gae Bolg, barbed spear that pierces with death. Now, this is an interesting ability because it reverses the laws of cause and effect to guarantee a strike that pierces the heart along with 1,000 iron horns that are meant to explode it afterward. What I mean by that though is the nature of causality is flipped on its head to make the thrust of the spear the effect that comes from the piercing of the heart. If you still don't understand, normally the piercing of someone's heart is the result or effect that comes from the lance being thrust through the opponent. But with Gae Bolg, before the lance is even thrust, the opponent's heart has already been pierced. The thrust is an action meant to simply complement the fact that the attack has gone through. In reality, it serves really no purpose. So basically, once the noble phantasm has been called upon, you're already dead.
Damn.
Well, you should be anyway, but we'll soon find out that that's not entirely the case. The lance being thrust or thrown does make a visual appearance that will always reach its opponent. Since the result of the heart being pierced has already taken place, that means that the spear will make contact with the location regardless of whether the opponent tries to dodge it or not. The lance shifts and turns at whatever angle is necessary to always match the result of the opponent's heart being struck. But as if getting your heart cut in half by a barbed spear wasn't bad enough, you also get cursed with a wound that cannot be healed as long as the spear exists.
That's insane.
So if you're capable of living without a heart or are lucky enough to dodge what's supposed to be an undodgeable attack, then yeah, you're stuck with the wound for a little while. But can we just take in the fact that Saber's rank in luck was high enough to beat a law? I mean, come on. Everything about this noble phantasm is that the action of the heart being struck has already happened. So why is it that she's able to dodge an attack that's already taken place? I don't think even Astolfo had enough plot armor to beat the principles of cause and effect. So I can see now why people who are actually familiar with the finer details of the Fate series would be a little salty at the fact that certain characters can beat other servants who are clearly more powerful than them in ways that make the least amount of sense. But I digress. Now onto the spear's second noble phantasm, called Gae Bolg, soaring spear that strikes with death. And this is the spear's ultimate attack. It embodies the part of its mythology that, when it's thrown, thousands of barbs are projected along with the spear. Lancer converts all his magical energy into raw energy and uses it to toss the spear with all his might at a speed of Mach 2, which then detonates on impact.
Damn, Mach 2?
The lance discs towards space to create what's essentially an extended web of spears that all strike at once. The number in his legend was said to be around 30, but it's gone upward with his power as a servant. Once again, this attack is said to be undodgeable, and even though Archer's Roaius nullified it, it really shouldn't have. Then there's also two more noble phantasms associated with the weapon, but they're used by Cuchulainn Alter and Proto-Lancer, so it's not entirely relevant here. All in all though, this spear is not something that a lot of servants should be able to handle, if any, especially when he's able to cast the first noble phantasm at least 7 times before requiring more mana. It just seems to me that our Lancer over here has a bad case of having to deal with overpowered protagonists. I'm sure if there was a lucky skill, Lancer's would be maxed out. Bro. Moving on, Lancer also has the ability to use 18 Norse runes that were gained after studying magecraft with Skaha.
Oh my god,
they're very situational, and we don't see them often in the anime, but they are showcased every now and then. For example, he uses a rune to set the room on fire where he dies. He also uses runes to make his armor more powerful. And if he's able to carve out all 18 runes on the ground, a barrier will be erected that can block the attack of a fairly powerful noble phantasm. Basically, different combinations of different runes result in different things. They're sort of like a separate skill kit that can be used individually or combined to give him a few benefits in certain situations.
Yeah,
then
that's pretty much
his skills like protection from arrows, which allows him to dodge any type of ranged attack as long as the opponent is visible, and it's not a noble phantasm with an area of effect type impact. He also has very high divinity due to his birth as a demigod, allowing for increased stats in agility, strength, and speed. And the final skill I'll point out is his battle continuation. This is what allowed him to get back up after literally stabbing himself in the heart. He embodies the aspect of his legend where he was always fighting solo against mass armies for days on end in countless battles that should have killed him, thus resulting in a servant that is very hard to kill. Lancer will only stop fighting after he receives a decisively fatal blow, but on top of that, he will stay alive for a period of time afterward, allowing for him to save Rin, all while dying from a pierced heart. Now, here's some conditional things about Lancer. He qualifies to be also summoned as either a berserker because of his warp spasms or caster because of his runes. And he gains a significant number of boosts while in Western Europe, even more so if it was in Ireland. Being in Ireland grants him access to his Castle Noble Phantasm, which I would imagine to be a fortress not quite on the scale of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, but probably something similar. And that's Lancer's
Wow.
abilities and Noble Phantasms. I'm sure you're already aware that he's very capable at fighting close and long range with his lance.
Yes.
So going into his combat abilities isn't really necessary when you can just go watch it in Unlimited Blade Works. But yeah, final opinion, he's a lot more badass than I initially thought he was. And he got super shafted in the anime. I'm pretty sure Archer and Saber shouldn't have survived their fight with him. But if that happened, we wouldn't have a show to watch. Let me know in the comments if you think that he should have
I
beat them.
guess so.
I'm curious to know how you guys thought the anime should have gone. So yeah, thanks for tuning into part 2. Sorry it took a week to come out, but one Fate bit a week is usually what I go for. Next week will be a beginner's guide to Fate Extra Last Encore, so be sure to come back here to see that one, because once I'm done clarifying everything about that, I'll be going on to the servants in that show. So as always, thanks for watching. And if you
Wow.
enjoyed this type of anime content, then you already know what to do. So until next time, ciao.
That is awesome. Yo, so I have a lot to talk about in this video. So, the first thing, Gaia Bolt, his Noble Phantasm, which is said to pierce the heart of an opponent, even before the spear is thrown. Meaning once he activates the Noble Phantasm, you're already dead. How freaking OP is that? That is insane. But then again, I don't think the anime did him justice if that is the case. Meaning, he didn't do it with Archer. He didn't use that Noble Phantasm with Archer. He used the second Noble Phantasm, which I forgot the name at the moment. But the thing is, the first Noble Phantasm, the one he used against Saber, that should have killed Saber. So if any of you guys can tell me why Saber survived and why the lance didn't pierce her heart, please let me know in the comment section below, because now I am starting to think that the anime did him dirty. To be honest, like, it did him really dirty. Like, how come? Because the thing is, like, if you're gonna use a Noble Phantasm like that and then have the effect not be what it usually is, meaning for some plot armor that Saber has, the Noble Phantasm is not gonna be effective without an explanation, you might as well not have used the Noble Phantasm at all. Because remember, in that fight, Lancer was trying to get away. Like, he didn't want to fight because he couldn't use his full power, because Koromine had told him to not attack, to only watch. So he's pretty much was shafted. So maybe just maybe that could be a reasonable explanation, meaning he wasn't supposed to fight because of the command seal, meaning that when he used the Noble Phantasm wasn't at full power, which is why Saber was able to dodge it. That could be a reasonable explanation. But then again, the Noble Phantasm was still activated. I would assume that if that was the case, he just shouldn't have been able to activate the Noble Phantasm, period. But I guess somebody could make a case that since he was severely weakened by the command seal, then that is probably why when he fought Saber, it didn't work. Now, the next thing, his other Noble Phantasm, the one that he throws, that thing travels at the speed of Mach 2. And when he used it against Archer, they weren't more than a few feet away, correct? So that tells a lot about the speed of freaking Archer and his Eye of the Mind ability. He was able to react to a lance being thrown at Mach 2 and not only summon the Rogue Eye's shield from his reality marble, But if I'm not mistaken, he all the action like raising his hand and putting up the shield and reacting to it, all that took place after the spear was thrown, after it was released. So in that moment between where the spear was released, and I could be wrong, maybe when he decided to put up the shield, Lancer still had the lance in his hand. I could be mistaken, but if I remember correctly, he had already thrown the lance when Archer decided to activate Rogue Eyes. So if that is the case, that means that Archer was able to react to an attack that was thrown at Mach 2 with only a few feet away, and not only was he able to raise his hand, but summon a shield and analyze the attack before it reached him. That is insane. That is crazy. Like, I feel like the anime really did Lancer dirty. Like, that shouldn't have happened. Or they could have animated it a little better, or maybe they could have moved Lancer farther away from Archer, something along the lines of that. Or maybe have Archer like try to run away, and when he's far away, then Lancer just decides to throw the spear. Then that they could have done it many different ways, but it feels like they forgot about, like, when they were animating it, they forgot about the abilities of the noble phantasms that he possesses. Another thing about Gaia Bogue that I have a question about was, so that lance, Gaia Bogue, was that the same lance that the other Lancer from Fate Zero had? Because sorry about that, because remember, he had two spears. He had the golden one, and then he had the red one. Now the red one, the longer spear, looks a lot like Gaia Bogue. So I want to know if that was the same spear, and if it was, could you guys tell me what was his relationship to that Lancer? Because basically they must have some connection. Because Lancer got the spear. I'm gonna just call him Ku. So Ku got the spear from his master, and then the Lancer from Zero, I don't know where he got his spear from, but if it's the same spear, can you tell me who had the spear first, and how do they connect to each other? Because surprisingly too, I would say they look a little similar. I guess it's just like their style that is similar. But yeah, I'm a little bit curious about that, because I noticed in the game too, if I'm not mistaken, his noble phantasm, the Lancers from Zeros, like his noble phantasm, I think is also called Gaia Bogue. So can you guys clarify that for me in the comments if you can? Also, next thing, his runes. Now, this guy is pretty much a Lancer and a caster in one, because as a Lancer, he's still able to use his runes to fight. Now, we don't see him use 100% of the runes, and I don't know how the summoning actually works in terms of, if you're summoned as a Lancer, does that mean that your Lancer abilities / skill sets get a boost, while your other skills that you're supposed to have regardless get a debuff? Or does it mean, or if you're summoned as a Lancer, does it just mean that you're able to do everything anyways? Because as a Lancer, we see him use runes, but we don't see him use runes to the extent that he uses them when he's summoned as a caster. Now, as a caster, it may be a choice that he makes, because as a caster, he doesn't have Gaia Bogue with him, which means that he has no choice or no better method to fight than to rely on his runes. So maybe when he's a Lancer, he just prefers to use Gaia Bogue and use his runes as a secondary like method of fighting if he has no choice. Maybe that is the case. I could be wrong, but maybe that is like a stylistic choice that he has. Because as I remember, like one of the lines that he said in the Fate Grand Order movie, the first one, was when he tries to fight Archer, close quarters. He states that, and I remember this. He says like, Archer says like, "Why you're trying to fight me in close quarters? I thought you're a caster. That sounds really stupid." And then he says something along the lines of, "Do you not know that one's skills and one's preference are two different things?" Meaning he prefers to fight at close combat if he can and if he's able to. So yeah, so basically I guess it could be a stylistic choice that he chooses not to use runes as much, but I feel it would be crazy if he was able to use runes at full power while he's a Lancer, because he can create barriers and pretty much trap his enemies and whatnot. So basically, in the Grand Order movie, when he was as a caster, he was able to put runes in the sky and around Archer. So Archer had to, like, Archer was pretty much trapped within the runes and he couldn't go far away. So what I'm thinking is, could you imagine if he could do that as a Lancer? He can place runes all around you, meaning you can escape, and also have Noble Phantasm that hit you, that pierce your heart instantly, while also having another Noble Phantasm that travels amok too, while your movement is limited. It's insane. It's insane. Like, you can't run away. I mean, you can run away regardless because it travels amok too. But if you're able to move back or move further away, you have more time to pretty much analyze the attack. And as Archer did, he was able to analyze the attack and decide that the best course of action was to block it, not to dodge it, because it's undodgeable. So he did decide that the best option is to block it, and so he did. Now imagine if your movement is limited, you can't move, you have no time to analyze. That creates a lot of pressure in an opponent, and to fight somebody like Lancer at close quarters is pretty much game over, honestly. I mean, he's able to fight at long range and close quarters at the same time. Like, I'm not saying he's not, but to fight someone like Lancer who has A+ agility, I think it's A+ or A+ agility, while using a spear that if it cuts you, you can heal, and while having two Noble Phantasms that are undodgeable, it's insane. Like, this guy is OP as hell, and I feel like the anime doesn't show his full capabilities. Now, if you manage to get over all of that and you manage to injure him somehow, this guy still won't die unless you hit like a finishing blow that kills him instantly. Because even if he's wounded, even if he's really injured, he's still able to fight at full strength with an ability called continue fighting, or something along the lines of that. So that's pretty much the same ability that Hercules has as a berserker, where he's able to fight at full strength while being severely injured. So this guy can go full power until he's definitely dead. And even after you deliver the finishing blow, this guy's still able to stay alive for a period of time after receiving that finishing blow. So pretty much, even if you manage to kill him, a lot of opponents will drop their guard and decide, well, I already pierced his heart, he's already dead, walk away, not knowing that this guy is right behind them, still able to fight at full strength, and probably kill them. So most of his fights should pretty much end either in him winning or in a tie. maybe the only type of servants that I think could overcome that ability of his, that wouldn't like drop their guard, are servants who have like eye of the mind type abilities, where they could probably predict like, oh, he's still alive. But most people, most fighters, most servants, after they killed an opponent who is supposed to be by all accounts dead, will drop their guard. It's just something normal because you think you're already done. So most fights will probably end in a tie or by Lancer winning. So that's crazy. That is crazy. Like, the only thing you can do pretty much if you're fighting this guy one-on-one is retreat. And even then, if you try to retreat by running away, he can pretty much throw his second Noble Phantasm and get you. Like, this guy is insane. I feel like the anime did him so dirty. To be honest, like, I'm so frustrated right now. Because this guy is powerful, bro. This guy is really powerful. Oh my god. Damn. He is fucking strong, bro. I didn't think he was so badass. Honestly, I really don't. And imagine if he had another spear like the Lancer from Zero does, which he has 2 spears. One I think is Gaia Bulk. If it's not, please clarify that for me in the comments. If that is not Gaia Bulk, please clarify. But I think it's Gaia Bulk, and then another one who is also a cursed spear as well. So imagine him having 2 spears. That would be insane. And pretty much all his physical abilities are up there, where they are all A class and B class, almost all of them. So this guy is a complete powerhouse. Like, it's insane. It's honestly insane. Like, I don't even know how would he, like, this guy should win every freaking Grail War, man. Like, oh my god. I know I'm probably overhyping him, but I'm just pretty much going based on what he said, and without any other characters having plot armor, to be honest. Because in Unlimited Blade Works, as he stated, the only reasons why I can think that Archer and Saber were able to survive was based on plot armor. And we didn't see him fight anybody at full strength with the intent to kill them, which was pretty sad. Like, I'm curious to see how he would look and how devastating he will be if he was actually trying to kill an opponent that he faced while he being at full power. Like, this guy is crazy. This guy is insane, because if you guys notice, we didn't see him, like, sure, his fight with Archer was pretty badass and he was trying to kill him and he would have killed him, but remember, he was in an alliance with Tosaka, and when Archer decided that Castor or Medea wasn't looking anymore, and he explained to Lancer that he was on their side, Lancer let him go. So that would have been a win for Lancer. And I think that if he was fighting Saber at full power, he probably could have beaten her as well. So this guy is a complete powerhouse. Like, and the only time where I got to see him fight at full power, and he wasn't even as a Lancer, he was a caster type, was in the Fate Grand Order movie, and he was able to defeat Archer Emiya. And granted, he did step into the fight with Mesh. He stepped in, but he was also able to defeat or kill Saber. So that was really nice. He was like, this guy's a powerhouse. I'm telling you. And he didn't even mention the abilities that the Noble Phantasm that he has as a caster, where he's able to summon like this huge ass golem, and that's a completely different story as well. Like, this guy is amazing, and I can't wait. Hopefully we get to see him in the anime as they said he could summon as a berserk, I think it was, because that armor looks OP as hell. That armor looks badass. I really honestly, I want to see him as a Berserk at some point in the Fate animes. If he appears anywhere, I will be really excited to see that. Hopefully in the future I get to see that somewhere, because I don't think that he's in any of the animes that are out right now. So I'm curious to see him as a Berserk. I think this guy will be insanely powerful. So yeah, I told you guys I had a lot to say. I told you. But that is it. That's it for the video. If you guys like the video, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. It will really help me out a lot. So please subscribe. As you can see in the corner right there, my goal, 200 subs by the end of the month. So please help me out, support my channel. I will really appreciate it. And as I tell you guys, I get really motivated every time I see a new subscribers, and the videos are gonna keep coming. They're gonna keep coming, because I know like a lot of people feel like, because I take a step back and I look at myself and I'm like, well, if I'm watching a YouTube channel, correct, and I see that this guy doesn't have a lot of subs, meaning like less than 1,000 or anywhere along that range, you normally you wouldn't subscribe just because you think, this guy is new, he's probably gonna quit, or like, you know, all of those things that cross through your mind, and you don't really subscribe. You gotta watch like a few videos to the point where you're like, yeah, I'm gonna subscribe to this guy, he's pretty good. But I'm telling you guys, the videos are gonna keep coming. I enjoy doing this. Like, I really enjoy doing this. So I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about myself, meaning if any one of you guys was in my position, you probably wouldn't be doing this. You probably wouldn't be doing YouTube, because I'm gonna tell you guys this. So I have a job that I work 7 days a week. 7 days a week I work. 7 days a week. 7. The whole week I work. I'm also about to have a kid. So I'm taking my girlfriend to all of her appointments. Like, when I'm not working at night, in the morning I'm taking her to all of her appointments. My girl doesn't drive, so I have to take her everywhere. So imagine how much time I have for myself, and I still find the time to do this, meaning I really enjoy doing this. I'm pretty sure that most people in my position will be like, yeah, I'm staying in bed, I'm not recording nothing, like, I'm staying in bed, fuck that. But no, I am telling you guys, I enjoy doing this. This is like my break time. This is like my free time. Like, this is what I choose to do on my free time. So yes, guys, the videos are gonna keep coming, so please subscribe to my channel. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As I always say, have an awesome day, and catch you guys in the next one.